It's time for Peptide Talk, featuring Garrett Pope. Now, here is your host, Joe Zapata.
What's up, guys? It's Joe Zapata here with another week of Peptide Talk. I'm here with my man, Garrett Pope. What's going on, Garrett?
What's up, man?
What's going on? Before we get started, a couple things I want to just throw out there. Please go to equipfoods.com, use promo code JerseyJZ, and get your best price on protein around. You get 15% off your order. They got some new mocha protein that's out, so please use promo code JerseyJZ and go to equipfoods.com. Also, I want to bring this out real quick. Before every show, in the description of the podcast, I always put a disclaimer. We're not medical doctors. We're giving advice, but please consult with your own doctor, because people have brought it up to me. Go, oh, you guys got to be careful what you say. Again, we have it out there. This is for educational purposes only. We have it. I always have it in the description of every video, a disclaimer. So just like Dave Palumbo always says, hey, try my Fibrilize. If you have Crohn's disease, you might want to consult your doctor before you use Fibrilize. So again, it's a disclaimer. We are not doctors. Consult with your own physician. And this is for educational purposes only. Okay. Make that clear. All right, Garrett, let's get going. We want to talk about Eli Lilly first, the big medical company. They got some stuff going on. I actually have a little picture here. I'm going to pull up here. They were in the news, Eli Lilly, about a peptide. They're going to be now in stage trials here in Retatrutide. Tell us about it. What are they going to be doing?
All right. It's funny they put it for late stage diabetes trial. We all know it's got nothing to do with them marketing it for diabetes, but they have to put that. The real truth of the matter is it's going to be out there for weight loss, and everybody's going to be on it like they already are now. The difference is this. They're just cleared 4th stage clinical trial. It should be available by Eli Lilly the middle of this year, middle 2026. The issue with this is, though, once Eli Lilly puts it out there for availability in the middle of 2026, that means they are patenting it. So they will try to make it obsolete on the underground, gray, black, whatever you want to call color market. They will try to ban it from all peptide companies. They will try, they are going to try to pull it, period, for anybody else to get it, unless you get it through them. Okay. We talked about this weeks ago, and I said, well, that's what's coming. The government is the government, the FDA, doctors, big pharma. It's all about them making the money. Okay. They don't want other people making the money. They want to, and that's why they're getting involved in this whole game with peptides, because they realize that it's a huge moneymaker and they could be making money off of it. So it's cleared stage 4 trials. I've told people about Retatrutide before, how it is the best weight loss drug out there. But if you want to say best diabetic medication out there, and one of the things about it is it can be done in such low dosage. Okay, so microdosing it, and what I mean by microdosing it, not microdosing it, over daily. I mean microdosing it in a baby dose once a week. Okay, people are using 1 milligram. A real interesting story, real quick. On the Retatrutide, people are using 1 milligram, 1.5 milligram, 2 milligrams, and up to 2.5 milligrams a week, and that's what I mean by microdosing. But there are doctors out there, and I'm going to tell you, this has happened the other day. I had somebody text me telling me they're in the hospital. Doctor thinks it's pancreatitis. First thing I said was, that's very common with long-term GLP-1 usage.
And that's what they're doing?
Very long-term. This person was on doctor-prescribed GLP-1. So for anybody out there that wants to say about you can't give educational advice, that understand something is the first thing I'd like to say, okay? Most of the advice I give on here, okay, is the opposite, is the baby end dosage of things compared to what the doctors are actually doing. And I'm going to tell you something right now. This doctor had this person on for over 2 years straight, 10 milligrams a week.
Wow.
No wonder they have pancreatitis. No wonder they're at a high dosage over 2 years at 10 milligrams a week. That is absolutely absurd, okay? Absurd. And that's from a doctor, Okay, doctors, I'm going to put it out there right now, and we're going to get into this in a little minute over that little thing that was on the news yesterday. Doctors don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to peptides. They are brand new to this. They don't know what half the doctors, if you talk to them about peptides, 6 months ago, well, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. And now what they've all gone for is training courses over the last month or two because they've been told by big pharma, peptides are coming. You have to get on the board with the peptides. You can make great money with the peptides. So now the doctors are going and being trained for the peptides. They know nothing about it. And just like everything else, they're basically sitting there reading it off a phone or reading it out of a book or on the computer. And that's not real knowledge, okay? And what they're going to do is, okay, this says to up the dose to this, this, and this. And okay, well, if you're maxed out at 10 milligrams, we'll just keep you on that. No, you can't do that. But doctors don't know that. Doctors don't. So, the first thing I like to say is for people out there saying you can't give medical advice, if anything, the medical advice or the peptide advice that I'm giving out there is on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm telling people, don't go that high. There's no need to do that. There's going to be repercussions with that.
Yep,
so
exactly.
That's the first thing. The second thing is with the Eli Lilly, it's going to be bad because the next thing they're going to do is go around and try to hunt. And they will. The government will go hunting after the peptide companies to try to pull the Retatrutide from all the peptide companies.
And the price is going to be affected. The price.
Oh my God, is it ever? What's going to happen now is it's going to skyrocket. So Retatrutide is going to come out. They're going to sit there, Eli Lilly, and say, this is a GLP-3. This is stronger than semaglutide and tirzepatide, or as they're known, Wegovy and Ozempic, and the brand names. So on this, we're going to call Retatrutide, they'll come up with a little fancy name for it, I don't know, wipe my ass, you know what I mean? But they'll come up with their little fancy name, and they'll turn around and say, well, for a 3-month supply, it's $1,700. And guess what? They'll be the only game in town.
Yep, 100%. And don't forget, back in the 50s, 40s, doctors were telling us smoking was okay. Okay? There was commercials they were endorsing smoking. Okay? This is why the medical community, they don't know what's going on. And they tell you, now there's one doctor I spoke to, and actually I emailed him yesterday. His name is Dr. Alex Tatum. And I think he does a great job with peptides. He understands it. And I actually wanted him to come on. He said maybe he would right now. He's got a lot of things going on. But we had another doctor, and I have a picture right here of him. His name is Dr. Mike, and he was on Fox News.
Yep, yesterday.
He was on Fox News yesterday, and now he basically was saying peptides are the worst thing in the world. Garrett, what was he talking about, basically?
Okay, I listened to this thing. What happened yesterday was a client of mine sent me this. Got to turn on Fox News right now. You got to see this. And I did. And I went back, I streamed it from the beginning, so I watched the whole thing. And this guy, Dr. Mike, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, Dr. Mike is as much as, I guess, a convincing of a doctor as I am of being Doc Cock. Yeah. But whatever. Dr. Mike, all right, they put him in his scrubs right there, and they kept referring to his Dr. Mike, Dr. Mike. They said his name over and over again as Dr. Mike, and they made sure he had his scrubs on. Now, first things first, any doctor that usually appears on these type of shows and stuff, they dress a little bit different. They might have a shirt and tie. They're professional look. He wanted to give the image of, I work in an ER. Well, first of all, let's get this straight. Your little scrub outfit there has nothing to do with peptides, okay? You would have been more convincing coming on as a doctor in a shirt and a tie, okay? That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I don't like this guy, and I'm already pissed off with this guy, is because he came on and basically, here was his quote, the quote that literally set me through the roof. And he tried to be fired up the way he said it. So the way he said it was this. You have people out there and they're worried about vaccines. They're worried about the COVID vax. You should be worried about peptides and putting that in your body rather than vaxes. Oh, so you just showed your hand, you little piece of shit. Okay? You showed your hand. Basically what you did was you're showing everybody, okay? Hi, I work for Big Pharma. I'm listening to what they want to push. And they're telling me their vaxes are fine, but they want to talk. They want people to get worried about peptides. That's the first thing it was a sell job, okay? And when I saw, I just shook my head and I went, "You got to be kidding me!" The second thing, he went on and on and on. But here's what he did, and it amazes me when I hear people say this. I've talked before about things like when I've talked about Winstrol, and how I say, listen, man, I don't recommend Winstrol for anybody. Even get it ready for a show that it dries all your joints out. This, that. Somebody comes to me, or Tren. Somebody comes to me and goes, bro, I really want to use Tren. I want to get a Tren. I just tell them, I go, I don't recommend it. Well, okay, well, that's what I want to do. Yeah, I don't recommend it, and good luck getting it. You know what I mean? And then I just push them up, because if I tell you I don't want you using it, and you're going to use it anyway, have fun, go get it. You know what I'm trying to say? It's what this guy did was he basically said how dangerous peptides are, and then did an about face and made sure he said, well, you can't trust the online peptide companies. They say for research purposes only.
Correct.
You can't trust the compounding pharmacies because, well, they're just compounding them and they're not. You have to get your peptides from an accredited doctor and pharmacy. Now, this clown doesn't even know right now regular peptides. Most of them can't even be prescribed through a regular doctor. It has not been, while RFK has pulled them from the banned list, we're not at the point where you can go to a doctor and say, how you doing? I'd like a prescription for BPC 157 and TB 500. We're not there yet. We're just not there yet. But this guy yesterday is basically saying it like we are there. So that's the first thing. I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. So you're telling people go get a prescription from your doctor, but you can't get a prescription. If I were to walk into any doctor right now and say I want a prescription, they're going to look at me and go, why? Either what are you talking about, or oh no, we can't. So that's the first thing. The second thing is he went on his little bashing session about how people should be scared of this. People should be worried about what they're putting in their body. When you really break it down, and this is the honest to God truth, and listen, I'm going to be the first to say this. I'm anti-doctor. I'm anti-U.S. healthcare. I'm anti-hospital. I'm anti-nurse. Anything to do, I don't trust them, okay? They all have an agenda, and I don't trust them. And
I agree. I agree with you on that, 100%.
Yeah, and that's been for a very long time. I just don't. But what you're telling me is, trust you. You know what you're talking about. But if you go back 5 years ago, I had doctors tell me, trust me, the COVID vax is safe. Trust me. Stop watching Fox News.
Yep.
They're brainwashing you to tell you the COVID vax is not safe. But lo and behold, yesterday, here we are on Fox News, and this doctor is saying peptides are not safe. So should I not listen to Fox News? Should I listen to Fox News? What one is it? Pick what one you want. So while they want, it comes down to they push what they want to push. The U.S. healthcare system, doctors, and especially big pharma, they want people sick. They don't want you to get better. If there's a solution out there and you can take this solution to cure yourself, to get yourself better, God forbid, they rather you on their painkillers, on their anti-inflammatories, on their this, on their that, because it's a constant influx. They've got you hooked now. You got to stay on those things. You got to stay on those things to feel better. There's no end game where, oh my God, I've repaired myself. I'm truly better. I've reset my genes. I'm better. Okay, when I say genes, for anybody out there, don't get confused. It's G-E-N-E-S. I'm not talking about the genes you pull on. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, they don't want you to get better. They want you to stay sick.
Correct.
They want you to stay wounded. They want you to stay. I'm going to go one step further. They want the mentally ill to stay mentally ill. They don't want to get them better. They want them hooked on their medication. Okay. And it's with everything across the board. And that's one of the reasons why I don't trust the healthcare system, big pharma, this and that. They just care about pushing their products on you and getting you hooked on things. And they're scared now because there's peptides that are fixing people. And they're sitting there getting really nervous because they're sitting there going, oh my God, this could be disaster for us, meaning big pharma. And
I don't know too many doctors who've prescribed the drug to you and actually said, hey, after 6 months, you know what? You don't need it anymore. Come off of it. That never happens.
Nope.
I took myself off of blood pressure medicine because I got it under control. I took it, obviously, because, I was taking one time, I took Tren, and obviously that shot it up. But then I came off of it, stopped completely, said, this is it. Started doing myself, my own eating right and everything. And now I'm fine. But doctor wouldn't take it off me. He thought, you need that for life. You need it for life. I'm like, okay.
And that's what they want. They want your blood pressure. They want your cholesterol medication. They want everything you're doing. They want you to stay on for life.
Correct.
And that's because that's how they make their money. That's how Big Pharma makes the money. That's how the doctors get the kickbacks. And for anybody out there, nurse, doctor, anybody that says, oh, it doesn't work like that. We don't get kickback. Doctors don't get kickbacks. Bullshit, they don't get kickbacks. Okay? They're told the drugs to push. They're told by Big Pharma. They listen, they meet with their pharmacy reps. And the reason why I say this is when I had Lakewood Ranch Rejuvenation and my business partner was the neurologist, I knew firsthand he would have meetings. I set in on them, okay, with drug reps that would basically say, look him in the eyes and say, okay, these are the ones we want you to push because these are the ones that will, they called them spiffs. They didn't say kickbacks. The word that they used in the industry was spiffs, okay? And they would say all the time, these are the ones with the most spiffs on them. And that's what he was told to basically, that's what we want. And he said one time, well, you know, and remember he was a neurologist and he said something with neurology, I forget what it was. And he said, I prefer this medication for that. I find that this helps longer term. And their exact quote was, yes, but that's not, we don't push that. We push this one. And this is what you can make off of this for every prescription that you get somebody on.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there and listen, I was always anti-doc, but I remember sitting there just going, like shaking my head, like going, wow, like this is happening right in front of me. Like this is unbelievable. You know, like this is how it goes. Now, when we would meet with pharmacy reps, they would say straight out, like I would say to somebody, let me ask you a question. If somebody is really unregulated as far as the testosterone levels go, and they're in the tubes, they're in the toilet, okay, let's say they have a testosterone level under 50, just to get them baseline regulated quickly, maybe they should do a month of test propionate. So it's a short-term acting in your system, out of your system very fast, but it's injected every day. And then once we get them regulated, then they go on cypionate, okay? And this is before really the microdosing of the cypionate and everything was popular. So that it would be, okay, then they would go on the once-a-week injections. And they would look at me straight in the eyes and go, yeah, well, if you guys as a business want to make money, you want to be pushing the cypionate or the enaphate, not the propionate. So it wasn't about what would be better for a person. It was about, no. We as the pharmacy, this is what we want you to do. And, you know, and me, it was a different, my old business partner, Michael, he was used to that being in the medical field. And he would turn to me and go, that's what it is. You got to just roll with it. And I would say to him, I go, that's bullshit though. It's not, they don't care about the person. Or like when they went to the, those damn stupid butt injections, they would have the pellets. Okay. And they literally cut your skin, put a pellet in your skin. Well, you can't, you know, you're going to have trouble sitting down for a couple of days. It's going to be sore. You can't squat for a week. You know, you can't this, you can't that. They would tell people. And I would tell people all the time, you don't want that. It's unregulated as far as your blood, testosterone and your blood levels drop fast and this and that. And they would basically turn around and go, you don't understand the money in it. Here's what we will give you for spiffs for every single time pellets are sold out of this office.
Let's not forget Purdue Pharma, when they were pushing out the OxyContin, they had the 10 milligram, I guess the 40 milligram, whatever, 80. And when you pushed up the higher dose, you got better feed, you got, you know, better kickback. And that's what they, you know, did. So they don't care. They don't care.
They don't care at all. And that's why when, you know, people that I know, they'll hear me sometimes and I'll go on my rants about doctors and U.S. healthcare and all. And, you know, sometimes I'll get like the eye roll or I'll get the, you know, I know, you know, but the honest to God truth is they don't understand where my hatred of it comes from. It's like, I don't trust them. And when I say I don't trust them, I don't trust them. You go to veterinarians. I don't trust veterinarians. Okay. I don't trust because it's all about the bottom line. It's about dollars. It's all about them. You know, just the same way I'm going to give you something here, right here. And for anybody listening out there, if you don't believe me, you can look this part up. Okay. This is totally off base right now, but you can look this up. So you know how veterinarians push you for vaccines for your pets every year, 2 or 3 years. Okay. At max. I'm going to give you a little tidbit right here. Okay. For dogs, 40 pounds and above, that vaccine that you get, all these different vaccines, on average, last 2 to 3 years. For dogs under 40 pounds, vaccines that you get last on average of 7 years. So if a vaccine lasts that dog 7 years, why are they pushing it every year or every 2 years? See my point? Because they want the constant influx of the money. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say it right there, and I tell anybody this. I don't get my dogs vaxxed, period. Period. Nothing. I don't trust it. I've seen more dogs get vaxxed and have problems and have cardio issues and this and that. I don't get my dogs back. Every single time if I have to take them to the vet for some, well, they're behind on this, they're behind on that, they're behind that. No, I got it taken care of. Don't worry. I went to a different vet and got it taken care of. Oh, do you have the paperwork? Yeah, I'll send it over to you later after I'm done. It's at home. I'll email it to you. Screw you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, would you take a drug that took COVID vax, took 7-8 months tested to get to market? Would you take that and trust that?
Exactly. But everybody did. Everybody did.
Yep.
But people are out there saying about peptides. And what I'm trying to tell people is, do you know how long peptides have been around for? I'm going to use you one Samoralin, okay? Samoralin has been around, okay? We were prescribing that through Lake Ranch Rejuvenation, through the compounding pharmacy, back in 2013. That's 13 years ago. People just now are going, oh my God, it's a growth hormone release. What is this? It was back around. That was a long time ago. A lot of these peptides have been around for a very long time. People just don't know about it, but they're skeptical. But a vaccine that popped up in, like you said, 7 or 8 months, people are jumping on board going, it's going to save me. I've never seen a vaccine before that you get the vaccine, but you continue to get the virus. That also makes no sense.
That doesn't make no sense either. Yep.
Nope.
100%. I'm friends with, obviously Greg Valentino and Big Frank, who is a pro arm wrestler. They have a podcast that they do once in a while. And Big Frank was on it. And I know Big Frank, we're friends, we're good friends. He said, I just don't trust peptides, he says, because I see him, it says research only labs on them. He says, I don't trust them, and I just think, and I told Frank, I said, you just don't have enough, education on them now, because they've been around, like you said, a while,
And that's a great point that he just made. And if you could pass this info on to him, this is important. They have to put that for research purposes only. They have to. And the reason why is these peptide companies, if they don't put for research purposes only on it, and anybody go and take this, and let's just say hypothetically, you have a heart attack. It has nothing to do with the peptide whatsoever. There's no peptides aren't out there causing people heart attacks. But what they can then turn around, somebody can do is sue and say, well, I'm suing this company because I bought this peptide from them and I was totally fine before then, and then I had a heart attack. Or if when anything happens, you can sue because, hey, it's not accepted and regulated by the FDA. So they have to put that to cover their own ass, research purposes only. And once they have that little sticker on there, slapping on there from the peptide companies, then they can sell it because they're not in trouble anymore. There's one peptide company online that you go on there and you have to click who you are. Are you a medical provider? Are you an independent researcher? Or are you a wholesale company? And then once you click on there, then you can get into their website. Well, that's a perfect thing also, because as you can see, an independent researcher can be you, can be me, can be a compounding pharmacist, could be anybody. Could be anybody. But they have to put for research purposes only on there. They have to. So now, like Dr. Mike yesterday was saying, well, they have for research purposes only. The majority of the public, the uneducated on peptides, and again, I'm making this clear, I'm not saying the uneducated, I'm saying the uneducated on peptides, are going to panic after yesterday and say, oh my God, it can't say for research purposes only on it. That's dangerous. What am I putting in my body? Oh my God. No. That's what they want you. That's where they're going at. They're finding a hole and then they're attacking that hole. Okay. They're finding a weakness and that's where they're going. So they're saying, oh, so these companies have to put for research purposes only. We'll go after that. We'll attack that. We'll make people doubt that's on there.
A lot of fear mongering.
That's what it is. Fear mongering. Yep. And as well as I do, the media loves to fear monger.
Of course. That's where they make their money. Anything bad out in the news is what they want to put out there.
Yep. That's exactly what they do. They fear monger, and that's how, and then they sit back and they smile and laugh at the chaos they cause.
Yep, exactly. And this brings me to one of the questions that we got, and that we were answering it right now. Tom S., he said, He said from New York, he says, I love peptides. I hear many people complain that they're not fully tested and his label says for research purposes only. What people don't understand is that it's the reason they put that on there is because to get around the FDA. Peptides are short chain amino acids in your body and you produce them naturally. They are safe. They are safe.
That's word for word. I said it a little while ago. I said it weeks ago. I said it on the first show. He's right, 100%. I've said it before. That's basically that's it. I literally just said that. And yeah, that's it.
100%.
That's it.
All right, guys. All right, so we're gonna actually switch gears, and we're gonna talk about a little bit of Primobolan and some Masteron. That's what we're gonna switch to and talk about right now. Primobolan, Garrett, tell me about Primobolan. Tell me what it does, the benefits, everything you got.
All right, Primobolan has been around for a very, very long time. I don't want anybody to get confused here with Parabolan. Totally different thing. Okay. So Primobolan and Parabolan are completely two separate entities. Primobolan is probably known in the past, not now, but in the past, as the most counterfeited steroid of all time.
That's correct.
The most counterfeited, because the problem is Primobolan is very, very expensive. Primobolan is also very, very hard to obtain. So a lot of people in the past would counterfeit it, say maybe it's Equipost, maybe it's Masteron, maybe it's something else. And they would say, they'd slap a Primobolan tag on it. People would see results, not know the true results they're going to be getting from Primobolan, and just turn around and, oh yeah, well, it's working for me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using a product that they paid 4 or 5 times the amount for. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's been known as the most counterfeited steroid in the past.
Yep.
Now, as I've said before to people, it's a different day and age. There's no more counterfeiting of these things because anybody, like I've said before, the company, the distributor, the wholesaler, the customer, anybody, you, me, anybody can send products into Janoschick Labs and get it tested.
Yep.
So anybody right now counterfeiting stuff and trying to say this is Primobolan and it's really not, would basically have their integrity shredded in a heartbeat.
Yep. I even have a testing kit. Where I can test myself.
What testing kit is it?
I actually got it from Dave Palumbo. I bought it from Dave on his site. He was selling a testing kit you could buy. I don't know.
There's a lot of holes in that kit. I know exactly. Okay. That's why I ask you. There's a lot of, listen, it's a great little at-home kit for people but the problem is this, and I've had many, many people, and I know the kit because I've played around with it before and I've done little experiments on it, and it will show the wrong amount of stuff in it. I use that kit with Lake Range Rejuvenation with compounded stuff that I knew 100% what was in there, and it wasn't saying the right stuff that was in there.
Okay.
So I'm just saying,
and that's an older kit.
I tell everybody, if you want the true, send your stuff off to Janoschick Labs. You have nothing. You will have complete peace of mind. Anybody out there that has a question, man, I don't know if this is real. I don't know. I don't trust the person. Whatever the case is, you can send your stuff off. And I tell everybody that, send it up, get it tested. Go ahead, get your stuff tested. Get your, if you want something tested, go ahead, just send it in. Guarantee it. It's, and that's the best thing for people to do. Guarantee your stuff. So in this day and age, if somebody is selling knockoff, counterfeit, whatever stuff, whether it be Primobolan or anything else, they'd have to be a damn fool because it's not the days of the past. Anybody can get their stuff tested now. And then all of a sudden, let's say it's a company, it's an online company, it's an underground, whatever you want to say, it's a compounding pharmacy, whatever, they'd be screwed. They would be screwed. Okay.
Yeah.
Because number one, they're going to lose face completely. They're going to lose any credibility. They're going to be blasted online. And if you're a compounding pharmacy or something, I'm not talking about an underground lab. I'm talking about a compounding pharmacy. You can be sued. Okay. Now I'm not saying compounding pharmacies are prescribing Primobolan, but I'm saying things like testosterone and Deca and Anavar. Compounding pharmacies can prescribe all that. If that stuff if that's counterfeit nowadays, you're done. You know what I mean? You are done. So Primobolan is now I just wanted to get that out there first about as far as in the past it was very counterfeited. Now it's not anymore. Primobolan is one of my hands down all-time favorites. Favorites. Now, a lot of people out there say, well, Primobolan and Masteron are the same exact thing. They're not the same exact thing. They have very similar properties, but they are different. And what I mean by that is this, and I just want to run through a couple things first.
Go ahead.
Masteron is Masteron and Athate, okay? That's the way to go if you're going to use Masteron. So, and the same thing, Primobolan and Athate, the way to go, not the acetates on those. And anybody out there, because they are made, oh, I got Primobolan capsules. Throw them away. Primobolan is an injectable. It's not a capsule. So if you have Primobolan capsules, I don't know what you got.
A-Rod took Primobolan. That's what he got busted with. Them. A-Rod was a Primo guy, Primobolan.
And Primobolan is a phenomenal. So here's the thing. We'll compare the two. Masteron is very androgenic, meaning it will give you acne. It will give you crazy hair loss. Okay? Very androgenic. Primobolan is not. It's much, while it has androgenic properties, it is nowhere near as androgenic as Masteron. Nowhere near. Not even close. Second thing is, Masteron crashes your estrogen. Okay? So it will, a lot of people use these products when they're on high doses of testosterone, because this way, if their estrogen gets out of whack and snap, rather than having to take an anti-estrogen, okay? Masteron will crash your estrogen. Primobolan is an estrogen controller. It will lower your estrogen, but it won't have the crashes on it, okay? That's the first thing, okay? And again, I just want to say, because, there's people out there that question things. Before you question something, anybody out there, look it up for yourself. Okay. There's something called AI now. Just want to let people out there know that. Do your own research. A lot of people, I tell everybody, with anything, peptide, steroid, anything, if you're going to put something in your body, instead of just listening to the influencers online and this and that, or a podcast, research yourself also.
Yeah, 100%.
I tell everybody, research yourself. Take a little bit of time. Read up. If this is something you want to do. But anyway, so Masteron is great for short term, let's say for people competing right before a contest, the final 4 to 6 weeks. It will get you crazy hard, crazy striated, and lean, okay? So like I said, it also lowers your estrogen majorly, okay? So it's going to draw any water out of you. Masteron's a great drug there. For final contest preparation, I wouldn't recommend staying on it for more than 6 weeks out, okay? Because then it's very hard also on your lipids. So as far as triglycerides, cholesterol, things like that, okay? Where Primobolan is not, okay? Masteron is very, very harsh on those things, okay? Now, Primobolan is much better for long-term. And when I say long-term to people, 14, 16, even 20 weeks you can stay on it, okay? Long-term, okay? And when I say long-term, I don't mean, like TRT. I'm saying long-term, up to 20 weeks. And that is going to give you a much more fullness, a more roundness to your muscle. It's going to give you a much more, you're going to get much more muscle growth on that, okay? And growth that you will actually keep, okay? Long-term muscle gains. So you're going to get better muscle gains on that, but you're going to get quality muscle gains. Now, what Primobolan is great for is if you are in a deficit. What I mean by that is if you are in a calorie deficit, if you are dieting, okay, whether it be for a show, whether it be for summer, whether it be for whatever the hell it is that you're dieting for. If you are in a calorie deficit, Primobolan is probably the best anabolic out there that you can use for as far as continuing to put on lean gains. And that's the whole thing what I try to explain to people about Primobolan. You are not going to take Primobolan and go, oh my God, I blew up 30 pounds. And that's not what that does. You will put on a good quality lean gain of muscle. Okay. And you will keep it. Very, very lean gains. Okay. So it's great for people in a calorie deficit. Where Masteron is used for basically the end of a contest cycle. It's great for the final 4 to 6 weeks.
You sent me 2 pictures here. Tell me about the pictures. Okay. This first picture I'm going to put up here. Is this now you on Primobolan? This one right here?
Exactly. Okay. So that picture there, I was on Primobolan. I want you to look specifically. Look at my delts. Look at my arms. Look at the roundness and the fullness in the muscle bellies. Okay? It's a great example of right there. Okay? Round. Now, I was 288 there, I believe. 289. I was just under 290 there. Okay? But you can see the full roundness to the muscle bellies. Okay? You can see like almost like perfect circles. Okay? Now,
and how much Primobolan were you taking?
Not a lot at all.
Really?
When I take Primobolan, I don't go above 200 milligrams a week.
Okay. All right.
I take baby doses. There's people out there going up to 800 milligrams and this and that. I take 200 I've never taken more than 200 milligrams a week of Primobolan. My body responds absurdly to Primobolan. Okay. I mean, it literally eats it up. So I use 200 milligrams a week. I use it long term, 16 weeks. I don't go as far as 20. I usually stay between 16 and 18 weeks, and it gives me great lean gains, and I stay at 200 milligrams. Now, a lot of people I've heard, bro, if you pump that up to 400, 500, 600 milligrams a week, oh my God, you'll blow up. Well, I don't want to blow up. You can see right there, that was 288, 290. I don't want to go above 300 anymore. Do you know what I mean? So exactly. I don't want to be bigger. I want quality lean muscle. Fullness. But I don't want to, blow, like people say, blow up. You know what I mean?
Okay. And in the other picture, now this is what are you on now in this picture?
That's no Primobolan.
That's no Primobolan.
Look at the difference. Look at my delts right there. Okay. It doesn't have that round circle fullness to them. Now on that right there, I was on 200 milligrams of test a week and nothing else.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I was literally 200 milligrams of test a week. I was 260, oh man, I don't know, 265, 268, somewhere around there, right there. Somewhere around there. But you can see there's a major difference in the roundness.
Yeah, compared to that one.
Bellies, okay?
Yes.
The fullness. Look at the back of the tricep. Look at the delt. You can see the circle. Even look at the brachialis. Look at my forearm, okay, where that was popping up. There's a difference. Okay. Now, I'm lean there. Okay. You can see I still have, I'm holding good muscle there, but the problem is look at the difference in the roundness and the fullness of the muscle bellies. There's a big difference. There's an obvious difference. Anybody that doesn't see it would be blind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what do you said Primobolan and Masteron, they're a little bit different. They're different, but what would you prefer if you were giving to somebody?
Hands down, Primobolan. I've used them both. Okay. I've used them both in the past. I like Primobolan hands down to Masteron. Masteron, I don't get nearly the same gains from. There's, for anybody out there, there's a video on my Instagram of me doing a variation of a hammer preacher curl. And I was on Primobolan then. And you can see my delts in that video being perfect circles. And that was just real recent. Okay. That was like maybe last summer, and you can see as I'm doing the variation of the hammer preacher, it's a perfect circle, my delt. Okay. Again, you can tell, you can see every time if I use Primobolan, immediately my muscle bellies get this roundness to them, this fullness to them. Okay. So hands down, Primobolan. Masteron gets me very lean, very hard, very striated, but I don't like it as much. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather get on the Primobolan. You get the long-term lean muscle gains. Okay. I'm much rather that. Primobolan, I also feel Primobolan is safer. Okay. So me personally, hands down, Primobolan and Masteron. It's not even, I don't even go near Masteron, it's anymore. It's not even a contest.
Now, I know you train many professional athletes, professional baseball players. And I know they've actually done stuff, especially during the steroid era. I was around that.
Even after the steroid era.
Even after the steroid era. What was the drug? Was Primo something that was really popular? Now, A-Rod was what he was taking. But when we were back in the day with us and, with the players, what were the players taking? Was Primobolan taking that too?
No. The players loved Deca because it would help them repair from injuries.
Okay.
They loved Deca. They loved, you had guys like what I would say the big guys, McGuire, those guys. They were using a high testosterone base, a very high testosterone base. They were using honestly like 750 milligrams a week testosterone. So
Wow.
very high testosterone. They were using Anadrol or D-ball, okay, which they really didn't know anything about T-ball then, okay. So they were using Anadrol, and they would use other things in there, whether it be a Deca, whether it be, you have this misconception out there, and I brought it up a few weeks ago. Roger, for example, you remember Roger, okay, and his game was built more on speed, okay. And he even had that season when he broke the Mets single season stolen base record. Okay.
Yep.
Now it was since shattered by Jose Reyes, but Roger had that record at one time. I think his record he broke Mookie Wilson. Mookie Wilson was 55. He broke it with 66. So the game was built on speed. So in his mind, I got to be leaner. I got to be faster. So he loved Winstrol. And I tried to tell him, no. And every time he got in Winstrol, he'd go on back then it was called the DL, not the IL. He would go on the DL with a hamstring pull.
Yep. Every time I remember that.
Clockwork. And I would turn to him and go, you are right. I am very, very tight. You know what I mean? I would be like, so why don't you listen to me? But it makes me feel good. I get these veins. And I'm like, Roger, you're not trying to get veins. You're not trying to look a certain way. You're not trying to, but my abs now, I'm like, but that's not what you're trying to do. And plus what I would try to tell him, he would drink like a fish. I mean, he was a hardcore drinker.
Yeah, I remember.
And what I try to tell him is, bro, that's the worst thing for you to be doing. Drinking when you're using stuff. You shouldn't be using stuff, period. You just stay where you're at. Your game is built on speed. And then he destroyed his game because then he decided, like I said, that one year, out of nowhere, I was up there. He was down here. He calls me up. I want you to come down to Sarasota. You're coming down to Sarasota to visit your parents and blah, 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 blah. And, I came down and we met at a place down in Sarasota that no longer exists, but it was a dinner club and this and that. And, we met and we had dinner and then we were talking afterwards and he turns to me and goes, I want to change my game. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I want to be a home run hitter. And I looked at him dead in the eyes and I go, at the time, I think his season, the most home runs he hit in a season was like 11 15? Or 12.
Yeah.
It was like 11 or 12. Like usually he'd be good for like 7 or 8 a year, but I think the most he ever hit was 11 or 12. And I would say to him, I'm like, Roger, you're not a home run hitter. Your game is built on speed. That's what you want to speed, contact, beat the ball out. You know what I mean? And he was great beating bunts down, hey.
Yeah, he was fast.
Exactly. And but the money, the contracts, the big money is in home runs. And I would try to explain to him. So then he gave me a list of what he wanted when he was told by I'm going to tell you exactly who did it. Remember Mo Vaughn? Mo Vaughn recommended to him what he should use to put on power and size.
Yeah, Mo Vaughn.
And Mo Vaughn, who used to be in Scores literally every single night of the week. Okay. Every night of the week, Mo Vaughn was in Scores and would be eating the worst fried food and crap and drinking like a fish. But you're going to take his advice on what to become a home run hitter as. Mo Vaughn was 305 pounds walking around normally. Okay. He simply, all he had to do was make contact with the ball and it left the park. It had nothing to do with, but Roger, this is what I want to do. I want to get big. I want to get strong. I want to be a home run hitter. And what did Roger do? Roger then proceeded to destroy his speed. Okay. He went from 66 stolen bases, I think, to something ridiculous like 15. He hit 10 home runs. He couldn't beat out those bunts down the third baseline anymore. He couldn't beat out the infield singles. He couldn't go from first to third the way he used to. He was laboring on everything he did, and he had to learn the hard way. But he insisted, and sometimes what happens when you're at that level, and these people have more money than, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want this. This is what I don't care. I understand what you're saying, but trust me, I know. I am in the major leagues. I know. You are in the major leagues, Roger. But when it comes to this stuff, you don't know.
No, you don't.
You don't know. You know about. Listen, Roger. I wouldn't tell you about taking a lead on first base and stealing second. You shouldn't tell me about this stuff. You shouldn't
100%.
tell me about training. Do you know what I mean? And
Yep.
he wouldn't understand that a lot of times.
No.
And he would just, I was told, Mo told me this. And I'm just like, I would just shake my head. And I'm like, all right, Roger, I'll get it for you. Here, it costs this amount, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the money. And whatever.
Yeah. Now, A-Rod, though, I got to tell you, A-Rod put in the work. He would, he's a gym rat. He loves going to work. He put in work. Because I know Roger sometimes would be like, I know you.
Sometimes.
You know him better than I do.
Roger hated working out. Roger hated the gym. Roger, do you know how many times I would say to Roger, I would come down here, okay? This is when I lived up there. I would come down here, and I would say to Roger, hey, Roger, when I would come down here, let's say I was down here for a week, 10 days.
Yeah, a week,
whatever it was. And I'd work out, every day down here. I'd go to a different gym, I'd go work out, and say, Roger, I'm going to, why don't you come to the gym with me? Hey, are you crazy? It's 11 a.m. 11 a.m. I'm going to go to the gym. How about we go to the gym at 3? I would literally sometimes wait around. Listen, I'm doing nothing. I'm hanging out down here, I would wait until 3 o'clock. No. I can't do it today. I'm too tired. No. So he would skip the gym no matter what. Okay. He hated working out. He would put in the bare minimum effort. And granted, he had great God-given natural abilities when it came to baseball.
Yeah, of course.
But you have, if you wanted to truly take it further, like you said, A-Rod did. A-Rod definitely took it further. Other guys who were workout monsters, Jose Canseco,
Roger Clemens, right? Roger Clemens.
Oh my God, yes. Roger Clemens was a huge workout. So these guys were all, here's one. This is going to be a blast from the past. Do you remember Randy Myers?
Yes, the pitcher.
Okay. Closer for the Mets, got traded to the Reds. So it was Randy Myers got sent to the Reds, and the Reds sent the Mets John Franco. So they basically swapped closers. And Randy Myers was a huge workout guy. He used to read Flex and Muscle and Fitness. He used to sit in the bullpen, and he would have Flex, Muscle and Fitness, and all these magazines and read them. And he couldn't wait, literally, until the game was over, and he would go into the locker room, and he would then train for 2 hours straight.
Wow.
So Randy Myers was a big gym guy, and a lot of people don't realize that about him. He loved working out. He was a workout freak.
Yeah.
And there's other guys. Mike Piazza, believe it or not, was a big workout guy. And if you remember something,
he was at Gold's Gym.
Gold's Gym, yes. Because if you remember, that's when he just got traded to the Mets. And the next year, he got traded to the Mets. What was it, 97? 99 is when Roger came to the Mets, and I went up. That's before I knew Piazza, and I went up to him. It was in the offseason. I went up to him and I said, "Hey," I said, Roger. I know Roger. I'm not gonna say his last name here. People could probably figure it out, but he just he goes, "Oh my God, yeah, say hello, blah blah blah." And he had that Hummer. Remember that Hummer he drove?
Yep.
And then I met Piazza through Roger.
Yep.
Literally that season,
Yep.
and then, but he was
Kyle Farnsworth. Kyle Farnsworth was a friend of mine. Kyle Farnsworth.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's a friend of mine, Kyle. I mean, he maybe can come on with us one time, but he always loves working out, was always great. He's into bodybuilding
and stuff.
He's competing. He is competing.
He went full range after his career into competing and all that. So yeah, that's another one. He played. Did he play for the Cubs?
He did.
Yeah, I thought so.
Played for the Cubs, played for the Yankees. I don't know if he played for the Mets. No,
did play for that. I think he played for the Cubs, the Yankees, and I think he played for the Rays for a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, but he went. Yeah, no, he's competing and stuff now. I don't know if he still is competing, but he was.
He is.
A tall dude too, very tall.
Yeah, he's tall.
Yeah. So I saw that he's a major workout guy. So you do have some players. I mean, listen, you have some players even back then. Afterwards, we'd be downstairs in the tunnel or downstairs in the clubhouse, and you'd have players literally. Okay, this is at nighttime after a game, 10 o'clock at night. Okay. You know, Roger or Movon, hey, we're all going to Scores. We're going to do this. We're going here. And listen, I always would train. My workout was over with. I would train in the morning. I never had it. But these guys, you can understand, as baseball players, they'd have to report to the park, let's say by 1 o'clock, you know, stretching, batting practice, this, that for a game at 7, you know, 7 p.m. start. They're sleeping till the last minute at home. They get into the park. They're not training in the morning. So a lot of these guys they would train afterwards. So it would be like 10 o'clock at night. And you knew the players right away that were workout guys because a lot of them would turn around and go, oh, no, I can't go out. I got to work out and then go home. Okay, by the time I'm done working out, it's going to be almost midnight. And these guys would legitimately work out afterwards. There were a lot of them. And then you would have other guys that just all they cared about was the game was over. Where are we going to party?
100%. 100%. We got a couple questions I just want to answer. There's one question I want to bring up right now. Obviously, someone who watches the show, John Scuderi, comes in, listens to it. I know him. He doesn't want to. We don't have problems, but obviously he brings up some questions, and I want to bring up one. He told me because we were talking about the peptide that I'm on, CJC 1259, whatever it is, with the Primobolan, the releases GH, and he had said to me, he says, Joe, GH at night is this if you're deficient or older. Now, is that true? I mean, I don't know.
Okay. GH at night, if you're deficient or older, absolutely. GH at night for other things besides that, absolutely. Now, again, I like to tell people, some people like me, some people don't like me, some people, just for shits and giggles, I don't really care, okay? What I tell people is, if you don't like me and you don't believe me, why don't you do a little research yourself rather than listening to your buddies, okay? So I'm going to read you something here for anybody that doesn't want to believe me, okay? And I said this in our GH discussion recently.
Yes. And I spoke to a couple of doctors too. I spoke to a couple of doctors that, one of the doctors that knows peptides and stuff like that. And he said he agrees with you. So we can go from there. Go ahead.
We can, and anybody, because I know, certain people like to say, I could go back to the other podcasts and I could prove what you said. Please go back and you can listen to what I said. And we can see how close it is to this. So nighttime, this is for HGH. Nighttime administration is generally considered optimal for HGH, human growth hormone injections, to mimic the body's natural nocturnal release, improve bioavailability, and avoid day-long insulin resistance. Key phrase, excuse me, before anybody goes, I forgot a word, key phrase there, day-long insulin resistance. While morning injections are acceptable for convenience or specific training goals, evening shots offer much better metabolic effects. Key considerations for timing: why before bed? Natural cycle aligns with the natural highest release of growth hormone that occurs during sleep. Better metabolic control reduces the risk of daytime insulin resistance, as HGH can cause temporary insulin resistance, and taking it at night avoids high insulin levels during the day. Better metabolic optimal absorption provides better bioavailability, meaning more of the hormone is effectively used by your body overall. Why would you take a morning injection? Training specific. Some athletes use morning injections, especially on an empty stomach, for fat loss or to coincide with morning workouts. Now, before I continue this, I just want to say one thing. I train in the morning. I have trained in the morning for years upon years now. Okay. I have never used HGH in the morning on an empty. First things first, I always eat an hour before I train. Okay. I don't train on an empty stomach. I think that's the worst thing for you. That's going to lead to atrophy of muscles. Okay. Got to eat beforehand. So I train in the morning. I've never used morning injections before training. The other thing is for fat loss. If you're using HGH and you want to increase your levels of fat loss, that tells me your diet is shit. Or to coincide with convenience. It can be easier for some people to remember to take it when they first wake up in the morning. Recommendation: consistency is key. The most important factor is taking the injection at the same time each day. Best practice: many experts recommend taking HGH about 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. So I will leave it at there because this isn't the first time this specific person has said things like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's out to lunch.
Yes.
I know Aaron Singerman. That's not what happened. I'm just going to put it out there. You might not like me. You might not believe me. I don't give two fucks. Go and do your own research because the things I've said before are backed up. Okay. You can look it up yourself factually and then come back and tell me it's only for GH deficient or older people. Now, the other thing I'd like to say is the advice I give on here, for the most part, isn't aimed at the small percentage of the public that are IFBB pros. Okay? I'm not giving advice on here to IFBB pros. An IFBB pro, I would not say to, use 200 milligrams a week of testosterone, use baby doses of thing. We all know that's not going to do the job for them. So an IFBB pro, they're taking so much HGH, they have to split the doses up. Trust me when I say I can tell you this factually, okay? I've trained IFBB pros. You have to break that up, okay? There's certain IFBB pros that I know that take a morning dose. They then work out around like 12 noon. So what they'll do is they'll wake up in the morning, they'll take a morning dose, then they'll work out, let's say around noon, and after their workout, let's say 2 o'clock, they'll take another dose when their body is depreciated. So they'll take another dose, and then they'll take a dose at nighttime. And the reason why is because they're taking so many IUs, they can't be taking 20 IUs right before bed. So they split their IU doses up over 3 times over the day. That has to be done. But again, for the average person, if they came to me and said, I want to use 20 IUs of growth a day, the first thing I would say is why? The second thing I would say, you're going to have major side effects with that. You're going to have swelling, you're going to have edema, okay, which is swelling in your ankles and your wrist. You're going to have wrist pain. You're going to have finger pain. You're going to have a lot of different things going on here, okay? Do you know what the sides are? So I think sometimes people are confused out there. When I'm talking, this isn't the Dave Palumbo show. This isn't that I'm trying to gear this knowledge, aim this knowledge, I don't want to use the word gear, aim this knowledge towards IFBB pros or people trying to become IFBB pros. I assume the people that are listening to this podcast are the general public that care about looking good, working out, anti-aging, etc. Okay? And that is the advice that I'm giving it towards for the general public. Just to clear things up, because I think some people out there are a little confused. Yep.
100% right. 100% right. Again, great job again this week, Garrett. We're going to talk. Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you and talk to you for some advice?
Pope Training, all one word, Instagram. That 1-800-CALL-COCK number is not a real number. Somebody actually asked me that. They messaged me and they said, the 1-800-COCK number, call cock, it doesn't work. So
so please don't call that number. 1-800.
Don't call that number. You can Instagram, DM me directly, Instagram Pope Training. Other people that have listened to the show have reached out to me and asked questions and this and that, and we keep in contact. And I answer any questions and this and that. I do paid consults, etc. Anything. And listen, I'm not a dick. You reach out to me if you have a question on something. I'm not going to go, I'm sorry, I can't answer that one question because I need to have a paid consult. You have a question on something, I'm going to answer it, and it's free of charge, so you know.
Okay, gotcha. So everyone, please like, subscribe. Remember, you only have one body. Take care of it. All right, Garrett, I'll see you next week, brother.
See you next week.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Body